Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1.5 Championship. We're today for the Hungarian Grand Prix round 13 out of 16. Alrighty, let's get this started. Bassoon currently 15.8. He's the only driver in the 15s. Cohen in P2 with a 16.2. So there's a bit of a gap. Still, 9 minutes on the clock. We've got a long way to go. That is Bassoon on his second lap. Riding the curb, you could see he was just dragged across it. He couldn't do anything, even while it was spinning. It was spinning in a straight line almost. That is the nature of this circuit. Very, very technical, very easy to make big mistakes. We'll go on board with Robbo, who's coming through the... No, that's Larlick actually. Robbo's just set that lap time on a P9, so they will not be able to get any further than that. Larlick is on the lap as we'll go through the final few corners. Zingy, this is a track that is very interesting on strategy. Could you explain that, please?
Well, I don't know what you mean,
Tyre temp wise.
Yeah, okay, right, okay. I assumed, okay. Yeah, tyre temperatures around this track will skyrocket, even if you're running minimal tyre pressures. Even, I've talked to Niffle about this, a wheel user, and he says he does struggle to keep the temperature within the limit. And as someone who uses a controller, it is very difficult. So some people might struggle more than others, depending on what they use, just because the inputs are less smooth. And I think it won't make too much of a difference, but overall, the harder tires might be used. Will be used, but they might try and extend the hard stint just so they've got a lighter fuel load on the medium. It sounds a bit questionable, but it might actually work.
Do you think we'll ever be going onto the soft tyres, and how long would they last if we did go onto the soft tyres?
So when does F1.5 get released?
July-ish kind of time, I think.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's if you don't understand what he means by that, it's the fact that the soft tyres don't last at all. So yeah, we're not going to see any soft tyre running today in the race unless somebody was absolutely crazy. Even if the soft tyres were usable, they would probably only last about 7 laps. That was the last game. That was about what you would do on that set of softs. It's just pretty much impossible to use that tyre regardless because of this circuit. You're going slow speed, taking so many corners, and you don't really have a moment to let the tyres rest, not on a long straight or, well, I say high-speed corner. High-speed corner, you're not going to be cooling the tyres at all, but as you can see, turn 11, very high speed, easy to get those tyres very, very warm into the braking zone of 12. Is he going to use that track extension that you are allowed to use, by the way? Of course, turns 11 and 12, you can extend those corners. Decides not to, going to come around the final few corners now. And we shall see what he can do. Can he improve up ahead of Bassoon? Is it going to be enough? And it will be. A 15.8, very, very close margins between the two. And Bassoon is on his way out to set another lap.
Bassoon spun last time, mind you, so his confidence might be a bit, dampered by that. So, as you see, Waldo go third fastest, actually. Not a bad lap by him either. And surprisingly, JJ, with his... You know how he likes his low downforce setups on a track that requires probably the second most downforce just before Monaco. I mean, honestly, I don't know how he's doing it. Oh no, and he spun. He spun in his second lap. I've talked to him, so I do apologise, JJ. But you're doing well at the moment. He's P4, not too far off, the top 3 spots. So if he just finds that 10 for 2, he could be in contention for a second row start as Fiaiko goes third.
Fiaiko goes P3, that is a 16.0, almost got to the 15, so he's got a little bit more work to do if he wants to get there. Of course, the qualifying kings and queens, if you like, P1 and 2, Karen and Bassoon, that is what they like to do, of course. Waldo, P4, that is absolutely perfect. This is Vale into the pit lane after invalidating. He's struggled in qualifying recently. Back in the day in the 21 game, we'd see him going for pole positions all the time, but his race pace usually is very good. Unfortunately, he's been pretty unlucky in recent races. But yeah, I guess that's how it goes. And of course, if you can't get a good qualifying position, you've got a lot more work to do. You have a higher chance of getting involved in a collision, of course, as well. Bassoon is on a lap. They're in the second sector now, going through that lovely tight chicane. let's see what they can do. I've got something in my throat, so I'm going to pass it over to Zingy as he does invalidate.
Yeah, pursuing and validating there, maybe feeling the pressure through. Oh, as he hits the wall. Maybe he's still pushing on this lap, coming through the last few corners now. Also validated, he still wants to get a feel for the car potentially. This penultimate corner drags on forever. You need to wait so long to get an accelerator, and of course he will come in, strap a new set of tyres on and push one last time, but you can see in that last sector, even with the grippiest soft tyres at their peak performance, the penultimate corner is just such an issue. You just can't seem to get the car turned in, and that's what's going to really determine how this qualifying session goes, because you can gain quite a lot of time, and depending on the setup, you might actually lose a bit.
I think also, from my own experience, that entry, or the entry to that corner, you want to try and use all the track you possibly can, and sometimes that will make it necessary to go onto the curb. That can also make your rears lock up and you'll spin. So it's very, very tricky to get right. And in a race, I'm sure we probably won't see too many people riding the curb. Qualifying, of course, I think we probably will. But it's all throughout the corner, entry, exit, mid-corner. It's very, very difficult. This is Vela's about to start a lap. Let's see, what can they do? Can they show us the good old days in that Alfa Romeo? They used to be back in a Williams before. I think they quite like Williams. I don't actually know what their favourite team is, but they don't seem to be bothered by the Alfa Romeo too much. Into turn 1 we will go. The first DRS straight, the only one that is really useful for overtaking. The second DRS straight is right here, riding the curb on exit, weirdly. That's an interesting one. Through turn 2 this is. And don't want to ride that inside curb. Open up the steering, get as tight as you can to the right hand side. Be careful on the exit here. You can easily lose the car. The setups, it's just so difficult in this game. And he does go invalid, unfortunately. He's going to have a bit of time to try and go for a cool down lap and then go out again, but he will not be able to go into the pit lane. I do apologise for the lag. I'm not really sure what that is. Hopefully it goes away a little bit later.
Ironically, the people who make this in the game are called Codemasters, so proving us wrong once again as we see... No, we don't see someone improve, my apologies. Everyone really just trying to go out for the last laps in a moment's time. Pursuing on... Is he on an out lap? Yeah, yes, Pursuing's on an out lap at the moment, and he's going to be starting his final one. Aaron, would you like me to take you through this?
Of course, of course.
I'll try my damn best, that's for sure. Coming through the last corner, you want to set it up nicely. Go a bit wide, not too wide of course. Carry the momentum through it and then onto the straight. Deploy the ERS, enable the DRS. Fly into turn 1. Oh no, there's a bunch of cars into turn 1. Let's hope they don't get in the way. Put the apex nicely, run it a bit wide and exit. Don't touch the curb as you will lose traction. Now coming into turn 2 now. It's quite a long left-hander. It's like the penultimate corner. You just have to wait a bit to get your throttle on. Now, turn 3, and this is what you call turn 4, although I disagree. Turn 4 is this fast left-hander. 160 you go for here, riding the curb nicely, and he's purple to the first sector. Now, turn 5, you want to run it wide and exit. Not too much, bottom it over the curb, but he manages to keep it nice through chicane. The rotation was perfect through there. This complex of corners will really test the tyre grip, and you want to run a little bit wide here, but not too much because you might invalidate it. It's very tricky. And now, will he use the invalidation exploit? It looks as though he will do. He is 2 tenths up in the middle sector. This is going to be a pole position lap time and an improvement of a significant margin. If he can just make it through the last 2 corners, he needs to hold it, and he finally gets an accelerator. That corner is so tedious. And now the final corner, don't hit the pit wall, run it wide and exit, don't bottom out on the curb, and across the line, it's going to be a 1:15.6, and that's pole by 2 tenths. Cohen right behind him, he's about to just start his lap.
Lovely stuff. Cohen has got a little bit of time until he's going to be showing us what he can do. We've got FICO also on a lap, lots of people on a lap. This is Vale. Has set their second run. P4 for them, that will be it. Gilly up to P5, so that's a brilliant job for them. Lots of people on laps. A couple people will probably not be able to improve. 2 laps on a set of soft tyres are pretty hard to actually get performance out, let alone at Hungary. So that's going to be something to look at later on, of course. But that is a brilliant, brilliant job from Pursoon. I don't know how hard will that be to beat, well, of course, find out very, very shortly. That is unfortunately Robbo stationary on the track, and I don't know if that's not them out, but yeah, that is a heck of a shame. They will not be able to improve. They're going to be outside the top 10, which will make it extremely difficult for their championship, as they had a really bad run back in Silverstone. As we get FICO across the line now, what's it going to be for them? That's going to be a P2, splitting them right down the middle. We have Cohen, who's going to try and go for pole position, but he's invalidated, pushed a little bit too hard. That will be it. We've got his teammate in 8th place at the moment. What will he be able to do? I think that's going to be about it. Of course, Bassoon has already set their lap. That's the Red Bull of Larlock. It is Larlock, so he's not going to be able to improve on those tyres. Here we go, JJ. Oh, no. JJ got a purple middle sector. That might be a bit of a bug, unfortunately. Around the final few corners, they will go to finish off the session. Where can JJ put that Williams? Can he get anywhere near his teammate? They're a very strong pairing, and across the line, and it's a P5. That is a lovely, lovely job. Very, very good indeed. Bassoon once again taking pole position, but he's got a car in between him and his rival.
I'm sure he'll be loving that. Although they are on the same side of the grid, so if Cohen gets a good launch, he'll be able to challenge him into turn 1. So it's going to be tricky nonetheless, but Bassoon has to watch right behind for the threats that might arise. You know, turn 1, it's not too far away, but it can be a bit tricky on the left-hand side, so FICO might have a bit of issue.
Yeah, for sure. I do know that these guys have been competing in time trial before the races come around, so they are trying their absolute best. That's going to make it pretty exciting for the race. Please wait. Please wait. Now I got a frozen loading screen. I do apologise. Alright, Bassoon takes pole position, FICO in P2, Cohen in P3. This is the rest of the grid, just in case we need it later on. And we're not going to get the race director. We will just about get the race director. Thank you very much. Instance just in case as well. We will be back for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We'll see you in a bit. Ready? Hold. Go! Who's going to get it into turn 1? There was pretty much no delay. Bassoon gets away well. Cohen to the inside now. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. FICO does have the advantage. He's going to try and get it back, but Bassoon around the outside. FICO, interestingly, starts on the medium tyre, but he cannot get through on the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri goes defensive. The car's heavy with fuel. He's not going to have a chance of getting through. This is Vel sits in P4. They've got pressure from the Aston behind. That's Grajak. There's Robbo off in the background. That is absolutely heartbreaking for them, but there's a long way to go. Cars side by side up through turn 4. That's a risky moment, as we do see IDMC and Mikash side by side into the chicane. Who's going to come out in front? They're going to go side by side. There's a little bit of contact. That is inevitable, but just about staying on track. It's a bit of a shame, but I think that will be how it has to go here in that chicane. That's going to be a bit of a painful moment. That is Bassoon, P1, FICO P2, and Cohen still sitting in P3.
I think Fico will have a very significant tyre advantage at the start of the race, and he needs to make it count. As further back, I think Lalek made a bit of a mistake, but they're coming onto the straight at the end of lap 1. Initially, Cohen got a great start and dropped back, and now his rival Pursuit is also going to be susceptible to the rookie driver of Fico. Into turn 1 now, he's not going to look for the move at the moment. He's going to think of a better opportunity, maybe into more of a traction zone. As he goes a bit wide and further back, we see Niffle on Gilly into P8, obviously trying to cause minimal impact. It's being a higher tier driver. This is Vale also looking for a move on Lou, but he can't seem to find it at the moment.
Waldo just about staying in front. He's very, very close to the back of him. Had a bit of a moment as he tries to react to the car in front. Now, will he have the confidence? Medium tyre for the McLaren, so that's going to be incredibly difficult for them to overtake. If you can get in front, that's going to be really, really nice for your tyres. Bit of a lag spike issue. Hopefully that's just on our side of things. It might be. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. We'll probably get some sort of comment on it after the race. That is JJ and Nifojan. Nifojan's sitting in P8 at the moment, but nothing is going to be available. That is Pursoon and Fico switching up, I should say, on the medium side. He's going to try and run away with it now. Where did he go for that move? That must have been turn 12 or something. That is an interesting strategy. He didn't want to go for it on the straight.
Yeah, he went for the move turn 12. Pursuit didn't get a good launch out of 11, and he dived on the inside, and he's got the lead of the Grand Prix. 6 tenths already is the gap. DRS is enabled, but won't be until the end of this lap. So he's got a whole lap to push out 4 tenths to Pursuit. Further back, JJ falling victim to the Niffle, who's moved up in our position and looking a bit further back. It's a bit close for the battle for P11. IDMC is going to look up the inside of Ergo Pro. Oh, and he spun him! And it turned 2. He messed up his braking point, and that is Eagle Pro round. A bit of a mistake there, but thankfully no one's out.
While all this happens, Robbo is slowly catching up to the field, but still he's got a long way to go and a lot of cars to overtake. Only one real opportunity to make a move. Fico says otherwise, of course, as he went for some very interesting creative moves, and that's kind of what you have to do if you want to do well here. In Hungary, of course, Cohen, he's not able to get anywhere near Pursoon right now, and he did go over track limits a little bit, so that could be something that we find later on in this race. Very easy to get track limit warnings around this circuit. Krajak is sat right behind these guys. He is on that medium tyre, but still, it's definitely a benefit if you can have DRS on the other cars. By the time your tyres start to drop off a little bit, you can have a bit of damage limitation, if you like, and that definitely will help. Cohen does get DRS, whereas Pursoon does not get DRS from the car ahead. That's going to be a great help. This is Vale will not be able to make any moves on the car ahead. They'll get second DRS rate, but they're going to be way too far behind to make a move. Any other cars going for moves? I know PJ just made one, and it's still going to be side by side, but IDMC will back off. PJ is a higher tier driver, so he doesn't need to fight him.
Just looking at the battle back at the front, Fico has pulled 1 point. Oh, Cohen makes a bit of a mistake, and his lights flashing already, actually. So when Fico's pulling away from Pursuit, Cohen can't keep up with him either. And then Grajak on that medium tyre, right? He is showing great pace at the moment and possibly could get up into the podium positions. Now, he just needs to keep it nice and smooth for here. He's got the tyre advantage, the ERS advantage, and for this last sector, it's going to roll 5 tenths of the gap. It's a bit laggy, but I hope that's just for me. And he should be able to get DRS. And well, he's going to get DRS, of course, but will be close enough to make a move. I'm not sure because Cohen's actually managed to pull a bit of a gap. Maybe the overheating issue is coming into it. Onto the straight now, he's going to burn his battery. Into turn 1, Cohen's looking susceptible to the move. Which way is he going to go? He fakes to the left, right, and goes to the left. Around the outside he goes with the grippier medium tyres. Cohen's having none of it, pushing it off track. He was a bit ahead, but I don't know if that was acceptable. And now Grujak's going to be furious. He's not going to look for the move, and he must be really annoyed at that one.
This is Vale, makes the move over the McLaren. Nifojan trying to follow on. It's going to be side by side, so close in between them. But Nifojan, he will have to back out. It's not worth the risk at this stage of the race. It was a very, very good effort, but Waldo P6, dropping a little bit. If he does drop behind Nifajan, it's not the end of the world, of course, but that is a move made by This Is Vale. Will This Is Vale be able to catch up? And also, of course, will they be able to catch up soon and make use of Grosjean's cliff when his tyres do drop off? As we were talking about Cohen earlier on, he knew what he had to do. He had to get a good start to this race and get into the lead, but he didn't. He was blocked, of course. Not blocked, but it was a 3-wide moment, which makes it incredibly difficult to make any moves. So that was a very tough moment for him. Gilly right behind JJ. They're very, very close. Lots of close battles right now. I do want to go back to Grosjean, though, because he does have that gap, and I think he's going to give it a second opportunity. He needs to do everything as soon as he can on that medium tyre to the outside line once again. Going to look for a switchback potentially. He will. We'll break a little bit earlier. Will he be able to get the traction? He has the DRS and the straight line speed. No ERS, though. He will manage to get that advantage, but no. Cohen holds it round the outside. It's going to be side by side. I think he's going to be able to hold it. That's perfect. It's a drag race to turn 4. Cohen's going to be ahead. He backs out, and that is a perfect defense from Cohen there. Very, very aggressive between those guys. Gilly made that move on JJ.
Flagging it. Pursuit spun it out of turn 5. He must have lost the car on the curb or something, and that's him dropping down positions. The championship leader is down to P8 and under pressure from Gilly. Oh, and he's lost it again. He's down the field. He's went from P2 all the way to P14 in the space of 2 corners. The initial spin cut him off, and he just can't stop. There might be something wrong internally. I'm not too sure, but he's really struggling. And looking for a podium position and extending the championship lead has turned into disaster.
That is such a shame. Luckily for him, Robbo did have a DNF last time around, or a DSQ, of course, by the game. But that was a very, very costly moment. Now, P16, 10 seconds behind the next car on lap 7 out of 35. Rob is slowly making progress, but he is very far behind, proving that it's extremely difficult to make overtakes. But we have Nifojang going to try and prove that wrong, as he has a look on the inside of JJ. He will once again have, well, I say the advantage, but no, JJ does have the DRS, of course, as well. JJ's going to hold on. Nifojang might be able to get a switchback, but I don't think so. He's going to have to wait behind for now. That's PJ, sorry, not Nifojang. So he will hold on. Lots of cars getting a bit distracted. Lap 7, the tyres start to get a little bit hotter, but I wouldn't expect it to happen just yet.
Well, I'd expect it to happen to the medium runners, maybe. Maybe some people starting to struggle. Well, Fico isn't really struggling. He's 6 seconds ahead almost of Cohen, so all that squabbling between himself and Grosjean and Pursuit Spin, of course, has resulted in him having a 6-second advantage. Don't discount his pace. For his first race, he's been absolutely phenomenal. He's managing the tyres, managing the ERS, he's flying up ahead. The gap just about goes to 6 seconds as he crosses the line. And what was I going to say? IDMC also went for a spin earlier on, which that's why he dropped from P around 8-9 all the way down to 15. So yeah, the tyres, the medium ones at least, should be overheating, but I would be very confused as to why the hards would be, even though, like, you know, they're so so hard to overheat.
Yeah, for sure. Robbo goes to the inside of Larlick. Larlick's not going to fight it too hard. They're going to let him go. Different strategies. He's close behind, but of course you get double DRS, so it's not really possible to fight. That is Robbo making it almost to the top 10, of course. He is in the top 10 if you take away the other higher tier drivers. That was a yellow for Grosjean, unfortunately. That is what a shame, what a shame. Waldo gets a time penalty, so yes, lap 7, 8, it's definitely getting to the drivers. They start making a couple mistakes. The heat, literally, in the tyres, get a little bit too much. He cuts the chicane in a slow down to avoid a penalty, and that is such a shame. So many drivers getting struck by these issues. Hopefully, they're all good to go. That's Larlick going to be making that move. Does he have damage, actually? He's just dropping behind and letting people go. He does have damage, unfortunately. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. So, no, he doesn't. Yes, he does. There you go. So he's going to have to take it into the pit lane. That is a heck of a shame. But yeah, maybe he can go for a different strategy. You never know, of course, around this circuit. Lots of cars very close to one another. We got Nikash going to go for a move on Waldo. Waldo maybe knocked his confidence by getting that time penalty, so he's going to be prone to overtaking. Mikash going to try and hold it around the outside. He'll have DRS once again. That is still the McLaren trying to hold on with everything they can. It seemed like they had the straight line speed, but they will not have the corner grip. That is going to be Mikash ahead, and that is a brilliant move from him. This is Velkoven up ahead. They're close together, but they're not really challenging each other. They need to try and lose minimal time, and of course wait to the pit stops until they start making overtakes. That is what you need to do in these situations.
I've just seen just before you guys were on about Waldo, Robbo went for the move on Page into the last corner. He didn't make it work, and luckily for him, Larlick wasn't too far, well, wasn't ahead, because it was almost acceptable to him if he was a few tenths further ahead. So Robbo really needs to pick his fights here and realise that PJ, as an F1 driver, is not who he should be battling. He should use PJ to get, well, for him to get ahead, and then maybe compromise the cars ahead. Maybe that should be a good strategy for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, he wants to try and be aggressive and make moves as soon as he can. PJ doesn't have the ability to really risk that. So he's having to be a little bit conservative, of course, with the DRS train. Makes a mistake, PJ, and he's going to immediately go through. Absolutely incredible timing. Just scratch everything I just said. JJ trying to put the pressure on Gilly. Gilly is maybe finding the pressure because they've got themselves a time penalty, unfortunately. They do have a lot of cars behind them as well. So it's an interesting situation for them. Larlick and Egapro switch up a bit. I think they tried to make the move and then they all of a sudden were the other way around again. So that's an interesting one. But Egapro's got a little bit more work to do until they can try and catch up to these other guys. Robbo, I'm interested to see how this goes. He's now released in front of PJ.
Yeah, Robbo has been able to fight now. He's able to go with the people in his tier, and he may feel a bit more confident in doing so. And he's raced these guys before, and he's came out on top a few times, especially with Gilly. Luckily for Gilly, I don't think time penalties were in his favour. I can't remember what round it was, I do apologise, but this time Robbo is on the back foot. He's got a very, very slippery Williams of JJ, which is in between the two of them. And if there was one person I would hate to be stuck behind, it's JJ. The amount of straight line speed on that Williams proved this season is amazing. But in the corners it will be a bit compromised. As we see, he loses the car a bit and PG does behind him too. So will this give Robbo the opportunity with the better momentum out of the last corner to maybe go for a move? JJ goes a bit defensive to block off any attack, and Robbo just can't find a way through at the moment. This track is proving very hard to overtake, even for people with low downforce.
He's at the mercy of JJ, of course, because he can choose whenever he wants to go for an overtake on Gilly. If he does go for an overtake on Gilly, he might, be in a bit of a troublesome situation. There's a yellow. That is unfortunately Nifojan round. Very, very difficult conditions right now as the tyres slowly get older. Hopefully he can stay in this one. But yeah, that's a little bit of a mistake. The momentum will slightly drop, but I'm sure he'll be able to get back into this. He's a very knowledgeable driver. He'll know that he needs to take it easy and then slowly start to push again. So that's going to be an interesting one. FICO leads the way. 8 seconds now. That's absolutely incredible from him. P2 and 3 not fighting each other once again, waiting a little bit longer. Zingy, when are we going to be pitting, do you think?
Let me get my feet
that's
raised.
JJ round. JJ will spin, and that is going to be Robbo release. What a shame. What a shame. I'm sorry to butt in there, but on the exit of turn 12, that is going to be absolute heartbreak. Pursoon is now making his way past, and he's going to try his best to take every advantage of other people making those mistakes. He has made those mistakes earlier on. Hopefully for him, those are the last mistakes of the weekend. That's Egapro going to make that move on Larlick. Very straightforward stuff. He doesn't really need to fight him. Of course, PJ trying to catch back up to the cars ahead. Robbo didn't go for a move on Gilly, interestingly. So they're maybe going to have to look at something in a couple laps' time.
I was just going to say with the pit stops, I'll have to use my free brain cells to think of this, but I think mediums lap 16 and hards would be lap 19-20. But Fico's pace has shown me that maybe from personal experience, as Cohen gets a penalty being overtaken by this as Vale, and now he's feeling the pressure. But going back to the tyre point, personal experience, I figured that the hard tires only got about 50% around about lap 18, 19, so there were thoughts on extending, but in the race we didn't actually, so people might look to extend so that the medium tires don't get so hot and maybe have that advantage, well, a longer lasting advantage for the rest of the race. What do you think?
I think the hard tyres are probably what I would prefer to be on at all times if possible. They're just nice and cold. And, yeah, manageable. Robbo, very, very quick in a straight line as he pushes for Gilly. Is he going to try and commit the move and send it? No, but Gilly does go wide. He's being very, very cautious, of course, and it does make it a little bit difficult for Robbo to make an outbraking overtake. Yes, he does get a little bit of space on the inside, but by going wider, Gilly can actually secure a better exit more often than not. I reckon Robbo might be going for it into the chicane though. He's got a lot of pace in that car. Gilly is doing a very good job at staying ahead. I doubt Robbo is choosing to really be behind Gilly at the moment. It's nothing against Gilly. I think that's just the way Robbo wants to go about this kind of stuff. I think he prefers to be in clean air. That's unfortunately Eager Pro round. Lalek made a mistake earlier on, so as I said and will continue saying, the mid part of this race is so difficult to manage as the tyres get a little bit difficult. Understeer kicks in, you get time penalties. Oversteer kicks in, you get time penalties and maybe spinning as well. It's a very tricky scenario. Pit stop wise, we got a little bit of time until we do get that, maybe for that medium tyre runner. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. Lap 35 is this race distance, and it's quite a long one to be honest. Lap 14, and we will see Robbo go for a move, but he spots Gilly flashing on the ERS. He's going to try his best to hold on. Is he going to look at a switchback instead? I don't think so. They're both flashing on the ERS. Gilly was looking like he was trying to carry it around the outside, but I don't think it was going to work out.
Yeah, Gilly not really battling too hard against Robbo, trying to get a bit of traction, but then just realised he might as well stay behind, because Robbo, after that spin at turn 1, he's looked like he's been on demon time or something, because he is absolutely flying through the pack at the moment. He's went from last, which is 16th, all the way to P7 on a track that, let's be honest, you can't really overtake around here, so Robbo doing such a good job to make positions up. And very good ones too. It's not like he's forcing his way through, he's waiting for the perfect opportunity and snatching it when he can. And now he's up into P7. Gilly 8 tenths behind, so Robbo struggling with the dirty air, Gilly even more, suggesting that he might have trouble with overheating issues.
Is he going to be able to hold on to the DRS? I don't quite know, but he had a big moment as he went through. It was just the corner before turn 11, so around about turn 10, 9-ish. Very tricky on the tyres at that part of the circuit, and definitely affected him a little bit. Waldo into the pit lane. They're going to start the reaction. Will anybody else try and follow on? Will PJ, try and go for a move on Gilly? They will not be able to go for a move. Nifojan was going to try and go for a move on Waldo earlier on, as they couldn't quite get through on the train, but it doesn't matter anymore. He's now going to be released right behind Mikash. Might be able to give it a shot, of course, as they're going to be in a bit of clean air. Although Mikash might want to try and go for a pit stop in reaction to Waldo. Waldo, however, might have a bit of traffic. I don't know, actually. He might be just about safe, but it's going to be a interesting situation for him. Grajak, Lalek, they switch up behind, so still progress is being made by a couple drivers that are making the most of their issues. Of course, if you have an issue in a race, you have everything to gain and pretty much nothing to lose. So that's why you can see these guys pushing their way through the order. Right now, though, for the top two, the gap has closed, interestingly.
Well, of course, that medium tyre is going to start to go off around about lap 12. And the gap kind of stabilised as Mikash, yes, he does respond to Waldo. So he needs to have a very good pit stop here and make sure he doesn't speed into the pit lane, which I hope he doesn't, does he? No, he gets it stopped nicely into the pit lane. Now he needs to get an optimal pit stop, which is the timing of you turning in, and it looks as though he has. So coming out the pits now, a bit of a slow reaction time on exit. Who's going to get ahead? Obviously Waldo on the hard tyres. They must have been freezing cold. He might initially be maybe a second and a bit behind, but now with his hard tyres that have been heated up properly, you know, it might actually have the chance. Yeah, you can see about 1.9 seconds, but you'll see the gap drop. Will he go for the move anytime soon? I don't quite know.
I've been in a very similar situation myself, and I got the move done in the chicane. He still needs to catch up here and use all the energy that he has. He doesn't have that much, so he might not be able to do the same thing. But yeah, he will catch up, and I think he's going to have a pretty nice opportunity on the next lap. Mikash by then might be able to get those tyres warmed up, but they're not able to hold on with JJ. That's Fico into the pit lane. This is they will not be able to take a pit stop because they are, of course, in the same team. But they don't want to make a pit stop now. They're going to wait a little bit longer anyway, so it doesn't really matter, of course. That is Waldo looking pretty racy at the moment, but they just can't find a way through yet. Oh, they're going to try and put it down the inside on the brakes very, very late, just trying to put the pressure on, and instead, I think they might have actually just lost time.
No, it doesn't look he's lost too much. Just put him under pressure, but yeah, maybe a 10th, but not too much. Coming out the last corner, does Mikash get DRS? He doesn't. He doesn't get DRS, and on the straight now, Waldo is gonna go for the move. Is he down the inside into turn 1? He breaks a bit late. There's almost a bit of contact. Mikash does well to avoid it, and Waldo is up into P11. He's got the track position. He might have a lap load of tyres, but that shouldn't affect him too much. He's got ahead of Mikash, and that's exactly what he needed.
That is perfect from him, and he might even get DRS, of course, on JJ. He's got that time penalty that he needs to try and counteract a little bit later on into this race. But yeah, maybe a bit of an aggressive move, but he just about got it done. Mikash, poor Mikash, getting bullied around. He got bullied around in Silverstone as well. He's in the battles, at least, but maybe just not on the right end of the battle, of course. I'm sure we'll be able to see him make progress later on. Of course, JJ seems to have an issue. I don't quite know. Maybe those tyres were really, really, really cold for the other guys, and now they do seem to have that advantage. However, he is flashing on the ERS system, McLaren, so they might be stuck behind JJ for a little while if they can't get a good exit. They're gonna have a look to the inside already. That's gonna put the pressure on JJ. He's gonna once again have a look. They'll leave the space. That is perfect driving from the McLaren. JJ's gonna be a little bit annoyed, but here comes the Red Bull. The Red Bull's gonna make it 3 wide momentarily. Surely JJ's gonna have to back off for that one. Mikash, he's got the battery. He's got the DRS to try and use it. They both have the DRS as a drag race. I think the McLaren got the DRS open a little bit earlier. He has the inside line, but could not compete. That is the Red Bull making the move back. That is absolutely incredible and very well played.
Yeah, Waldo looking for the move up the inside into turn 4. There's no way he makes this stick. He backs out just about. But Mikash proving that he just wait a little bit longer, wait for the opportunity to arise. They had both a bit of compromised exit, and Mikash flew through. So even after being overtaken initially, he didn't give up the fight, and he managed to get ahead. That's going to be crucial in their fight for P4, is it not? So these guys, well, very new to LSI, but they're already battling for nearly the top points positions. But it looks as though Waldo is struggling a bit on the battery, while JJ is not. However, I don't think JJ will be wanting to battle these guys anytime soon. He's got his own race to run, and his tyres are dying off. And onto the straight in just a moment's time. Will he have the battery to compete with Mikash down the straight? It looks as though he's struggling a bit on exit, but then he gets, well, initially it didn't look too good, but he got a fantastic exit of the corner. But look at that, he just can't really catch up. He has a bit, and no way he's going to go for him. If he does, he sends it down the inside of Mikash. He's not had enough of them just yet. He wants that track position. He feels like he's faster. He thinks it, and he just can't get through though. So Mikash still retaining the fringe points position at the moment, but that will change after everyone's made their stop.
Yeah, that is perfect from him. He's got that ERS, and ERS, especially around this circuit, is so much more powerful than DRS. That's almost a big mistake from Waldo. That could have ended the race, but they stay in it for now. This is Vale's going to take it into the pit lane as they react to Cohen, who just made a pit stop. So did Nifo. A couple of other people, I think, also followed on as well. That is a yellow. And that is JJ retiring. What's going to happen here? It's going to be a safety car. This is Vale is going to get a great advantage. Vico will still take the lead of this race, but that might be Cohen losing out big time. And Robbo, that is absolutely incredible for him. He's going to be loving this at the moment. Lots of people going to be loving this.
The rolling strategy coming into play there. There's not much I can say. That is very, very good and luckily timed for both Alpine and Alfa Romeo driver on the fresh mediums. That 10-second lead that FICO had, gone. All that work he done in the first stint to create such a massive gap to see himself cruise through to the end is diminished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers behind him on fresh medium tyres. He's going to be the one, well, he's going to be the victim in this situation. He's just going to get bullied by everyone. Those medium tyres at the start of the stint are 8, 9 tenths faster, I'd say, per lap. So FICO, from a debut win, it looked like, to calamity potentially, unless he can retain the pace on the hards like he did on the mediums.
This as well is going to get an opportunity to show what they've got, of course. They do stay ahead comfortably of Cohen. They were ahead anyway. I just thought maybe Cohen would have had an undercut, but never mind. That goes out the window. As you're saying, this is where we'll be able to show what they can do. FICO, though, an 8-second gap initially. I don't know. He might have the ability to hold on with that hard tyre anyway, and maybe Cohen will try and fight with this as well. I don't quite know. Cohen has nothing to risk. This as well has nothing to risk. Robbo in P5, he has to stay just ahead of Bassoon and try and claw anything back, of course. Bassoon, he had that issue, but he stays in this race, and now he's caught up again. Both of these drivers have no time penalties, and they must keep it that way if they want to get an advantage later on. You know how it is with safety cars. It can be very, very difficult to manage. Gilly, one of those ones that usually don't get any penalties, they do have one, so it's proving to be very difficult around this circuit.
Yeah, Gilly is the master of just keeping it within track limits, and yet he's one of the first, actually. That's the surprising part. He's one of the first people to get a 3-second time penalty. So what's going to happen from here? I'm not too sure. I think FICO will struggle, and the win might be out of reach at the moment, but he can still solidify a good points result considering the pace he had at the start of the race. Even towards the end of the stint on those old tyres, which is good to know, the old tyres he was still able to maintain and only lose a 10th or 2. So I'm thinking if he can just keep track position as much as he can on the hards, then towards the end of the race he might become a true, well, I'm not too sure how to word it, but he'll be scary, that's for sure.
For sure, indeed. We're not going to be going racing at the end of this lap. It will be the next lap. So lap 23 we will return, of course. And we won't have that long to go, of course. 23, that's going to be what? 13 laps maybe of racing?
Oh, there's an incident! Oh my days, I don't know what's just happened, but near the back, Grajak, Igor, and who was it? It wasn't Gibby, because Gibby's AI. I'm not too sure what happened there, but these two have collided, and there was a bit of carbon fibre I seen. Grajak absolutely furious, weaving the wheel in utter disbelief. I think he might have a bit of damage, I'm not too sure. Igor Pro had a significant part of his end plate missing. You can see from the little side board there, and he's going to come into the pits, of course he is. He's going to get a new set of mediums on, but I'm not sure what happened there. That might have to be investigated later.
Yeah, it wasn't on camera unfortunately, but yeah, that is a heck of a shame. He will be able to catch up and maybe even go for a different kind of strategy. Does he have another set of medium tyres to put on that car? Has to serve that time penalty, which isn't ideal, but you know, it might not be the worst thing, of course, for later on. They do get that wing change. You can be very, very unfortunate if the game doesn't change it for you. So yeah, very lucky there, unless they've, of course, enabled the setting, then that's all good for them. They're going to put a set of 6 lap-old tyres, which isn't what you want to see, but it's what he's got to deal with. Can he get to the end, Zingy?
If I were Igor, I'd be crying like Lewis Hamilton right now on the radio. I'd be like, no mate, retire the car, this game is absolutely rubbish. Because 6 lap old mediums... Hold on, let me do maths. I don't think... What was it? Was it 17 laps they can do? And he's done 6. That's 6 push laps, by the way. 6 push laps on the mediums in the previous stint. So... the issue is, what's he going to do? I don't know if he'll be able to make it to the end, and if he does, not only will he be slower than most other people in the grid, but he's also going to preserve the tyres, so it's a kick in the nuts, that's for sure, as the safety car comes in.
Indeed it is. It's Alfa Romeo 1-2. Let's see how this goes, of course. Reserve driver in P1, P2 and P3. Drivers that have absolutely nothing to lose. It's going to be all out for the start of this race. FICO will restart this race. This Avail will be the one to react. The safety car's in the pit lane. You can go at any point right now. Don't put it in 4th gear because otherwise you're going to get hit by the limiter. Still warming up those tyres. Going to try and point the car to the exit of the corner, I assume, and then put the throttle down. As you can see, lovely stuff. This Avail's going to react pretty nicely. Everybody reacting very, very well. We're going to see a couple of overtakes. Nymphojan looks to the inside, then goes to the outside line. That's the Alfa Romeo having to leave space. There's contact. Cohen's almost round. He's going to lose out to Nymphojan. Such a shame, but here comes Robbo. Robbo to the inside. Is it going to work out? I don't quite know. Off the camera a little bit. There's a bit of tapping. That is going to be Cohen in front just about. That is a perfect opportunity for Robbo. Such a shame he couldn't get it done, but Cohen stumbling off the restart. They've got a bit of work to do to try and get that back up soon in P6.
Yeah, the 2 championship contenders, 5 and 6 at the moment, maybe not leading the Grand Prix, but this is a personal battle. This is for, well, not necessarily the championship leads, but Robbo needs to finish ahead of Pursoon here because the championship's not looking too good for him at the moment. So Pursoon doesn't have to do too much, he can chill behind him, but I'm sure he'll want to really get ahead of him and extend that championship lead further. And he made an absolutely brilliant move into turn 1 on Gilly. Gilly's pants got pulled down and it was honestly incredible. And now he's under pressure for IDMC, who seems to have a bit of good pace after the initial spin that he had out of this very corner here on the straight now. Both burning battery as much as they can, and IDMC can't seem to get the move at the moment.
Gonna have to wait for now. Lots of cars very, very close to one another. That is the Ferrari going to the inside line. Eager Pro gonna have a look on the Aston Martin. Bit of a wheel bang, unfortunately. I don't quite know how that one went, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, goes defensive momentarily and then takes the racing line. That is the Nymphojan also actually looking pretty close to the cars ahead. It looked like they were going to try and make an overtake, but DRS isn't available. Of course, they want to try and have a minimal impact on this race. The question is, will this Israel be able to hold on and get DRS to FICO? Is it maybe not going to be so easy as we think? I don't quite know, but lots of drivers very, very close to one another. It's very, very tight. It's very, very hard on the tyres as they will increase in temperature. Robbo dropping back a little bit from Cohen. Still not a scary amount, but they've got to be careful.
Yeah, Cohen, these three in general are actually very close together. Of course, Cohen having that 3-second time penalty, but he's going to be fighting to get up the field so he can extend the gap further. But he's got Nymphojan in the way. Nympho's a very quick driver. With that spin as well, anyone who seemed to have spun or made a very big mistake earlier on seems to be in very good shape at the moment. Robbo, Nympho, IDMC making his way up the pack, so don't discount anyone from this race. You know, people like Waldo and Mikash might even have a chance of points here if people keep on making mistakes.
10.5 laps to go. We will soon see, of course. Long way to go in theory, but we have completed most of the race, of course. So it's just trying to keep hold of what you've got if you're at the top, of course, and push with everything you possibly can if you're further down the order. Lots of drivers just trying to make a name for themselves as they've joined the season late on. Lots of drivers trying to hold on as much as they can to gain points on the championship. Robbo, Pursoon, Gilly, all in the championship battle. Cohen is kind of there, but it's going to be so tough. He needs everybody to DNF, I think, in order to be able to fight for the championship, of course. It's not impossible, but it's very, very difficult. Robbo, Pursoon and Gilly, not really ones to DNF in races, and actually I think the only DNF that Gilly had wasn't actually really their fault. Anyway, P1, 2 tenths, 3 tenths or 4 tenths as he gets a pretty good exit. DRS though is going to be available, so it's going to be pretty difficult for him to manage. I really do wonder what will this Veil be doing on the energy and setup. Pursoon does go to the inside line and makes that move on Robbo. So lovely stuff from him. He knows that if he can get ahead in a DRS train, that's going to be perfect for him. And he, of course, gets double DRS, so he can back up that move into the second straight. So a perfect job from him.
Surprisingly, FICO is keeping the lead at the moment. He's doing a very good job at the hard tyres. I don't know how he's managing it. These guys on very grippy mediums just can't seem to find a way past. It looks as though he's managing his battery all right too. The flashing light is not there for, well, anyone at the moment. Some people having less than others, but he seems to just be managing everything so smoothly, and it's mesmerising to watch, really. You can just see him take the corners so elegantly, and it's honestly, for someone's first race, this is so impressive. And keeping someone like this available behind this Grajak retires, that might be a safety car, it is, but it's just so impressive to watch. And that's going to benefit FICO so much as, whoa, Cohen's in the pits. Cohen is in. Why is he in? Who knows? What do you think, Aaron?
I don't know. FICO didn't maybe react in time. It's very easy to get it. Very difficult. Lalek, unfortunately, is going to get a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Going into the pit lane onto a set of medium tyres, fresher medium tyres. He's going to lose all the track position in the world. Maybe he's hoping that a couple other cars will lose out. I don't know. Seven laps advantage. It might be alright. It might be alright, but I don't think so. He's actually had to give the position up to Gibby's AI. That's even more of a problem because on a safety car restart, AI is an absolute nightmare to deal with. That is an interesting one. FICO, he had a split decision to make, of course. He seemed to be able to hold on to the lead. Maybe he's confident in himself to be able to do that. Maybe that's why he decided not to pit, because we had a recent safety car. If he did go into the pit lane, he's going to end up like Cohen. Cohen wasn't really that far behind FICO, but he's dropped back so much.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this race is flipped on its head. I'll tell you that for a fact. You know, some people might actually pit for soft. Igor, who's actually pit for medium, surprisingly. I'd say soft to the end. I know you might or might not disagree with me, but maybe at the end of this, maybe at the end of this lap, people at the back, maybe from, I'd say, maybe even me cash down, they might want to look at an alternative strategy, might want to just send it, because, oh, what's happened there? Oh no, I think there's been a bit of damage for Waldo. There's a bit of lag happened, and the pack's slowing up so much, and he's going to take to the pits. Oh, and Larlick goes in a bit late also. It's manic down at the pit lane. There's people diving in the last second, and surely they're thinking soft to the end, because you're going to have, what, 5-6 racing laps? I know they'll overheat, but even with the 105, 106 degree temperatures, it's going to be so quick.
It is indeed. I guess he was going for that soft tyre. I don't know. Larlick, he of course had that drive-through penalty, so maybe he was thinking, I'm going to serve it. You can't serve it under safety car conditions. You can serve 5-second time penalties under safety car conditions, but that's about it. You can't serve anything else. So, yeah, going into the pit lane, I think we're still going to be going racing at the end of this lap. So, he's not got long to go in this race. He's going to be having to push pretty aggressively if he wants to make any moves, of course. It's going to be so hard, of course, against the other runners. The 2 cars ahead of him, they have some pretty fresh tyres, and they're not going to be at risk of overheating, so that's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, lap 20 out of 35. Something I just realised, Cohen, he does have that time penalty as well, so not only has he lost track position, but he's going to be potentially losing out to other cars. So it's a bold strategy, and maybe he's hoping that some other cars will maybe make a pit stop if there's another safety car, but the chances of another safety car are pretty slim. So I think, unfortunately for him, that is going to be it. Safety car is in this lap. Let's get going once again, and hopefully for the final time at Hungary, FICO will lead the way, and for the second time running, this is they'll be the one to react. Can't go just yet because the safety car's not into the pit lane. You could in theory, but you're probably going to have a bit of a mistake. That's another penalty for Waldo, unfortunately, but we're going to have to focus on the restart. When will he go for that one? Is he going to try something a little bit different, or is he going to do exactly what he did last time around? He's going to go wide and try and secure a nice exit. He does this time. Nipojan is going to get a lovely run. He's going to try and make a move, and that's Robbo also going to have a look on Pursoon. Robbo, is he going to be able to get it, though, on a safety car restart? Everybody's got so much battery. He's not even going to fight him. Oh, no, and Robbo's round. Robbo will not be able to hold on to it. The tyre temps are absolutely gone. The tyres are cold. He cannot get anything. Nifojan, on the other hand, did manage to get there. So he's going to try his best to make his way through the grid and have a minimal impact. But that is such a shame. And Pursoon will now be loving life at the moment. He does have Gilly right behind him.
Yeah, Gilly with a time penalty seems to be struggling a bit. And Pursoon he's under pressure from Robbo. And then Robbo's chance of just winning this race, and maybe his title chances at that might have just slipped away from him there. One move too many, and then it cost him. So Cohen gets another 3 seconds. Everyone's championship rivals are falling apart. I know he's not going to probably win the championship this race, but Pursoon's life is looking fantastic at the moment. He's in P3 for the EU drivers. He's going to get a podium either way. It's very close to these Alfa Romeos, and it looks as though there could be a bit of squabbling which could allow him to even win this race. Oh my days.
It's going to be possible up the front. Nifojan's not going to go for a move. No one's going to be going for a move. Would he get a better exit? I don't think so, but no, he will. He's going to be right there. He's pushing on the energy. He is going to give it a shot. It's not worth it. They're going to be sitting behind one another just about. Lovely stuff from them, but Pursoon is going to have to sit behind even longer, of course. IDMC, they have a bit of pressure from behind. Cohen made a move on Mikash. They did unfortunately make a bit of contact and maybe pushed him off a little bit wide. Got a bit of instant karma, of course, as he did get a time penalty for exceeding track limits. Would that be enough? I don't know, but yeah, that is such a shame for that contact, but he did get that warning in the end and got a bit of a taste. But looking at Cohen, he's got a higher tier driver in front of him. PJ's no slouch. It's not going to be that easy to catch up to him, of course, but he just needs to push with everything he can, and he tries it, but it's going to be very close to DNFing. That was a scary moment. Just about stays in it for now, but he's got that higher tier driver that's going to not be a blockage, but it's just a little bit of an annoyance, of course. He can't do anything about it. Once again, to the top 3 we will go. Nifojan, is he going to get a chance to try and make an overtake? DRS will not be available just yet. He still does have a look, though. Look, DNF's in the pit lane. That is going to be... No, it's on track. And another safety car. Another safety car.
Oh, wow.
Cohen's going to jump up possibly here. No, I don't think so.
Well, it's off to it.
I don't think it's worth it for the top runners. We're not going to be under the safety car conditions for that long. We're not going to get DRS. Of course, we have Waldo going on to the softs. Robbo, softs definitely. Mikash as well. Maybe Eager Pro. I think after that, you don't really want to do it. Cohen's also got that time penalty to think about. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be possible.
Well, I think people for back. I'm saying this again. People for back. Pit for softs. Honestly, I bet a tenner on it. You pit for softs and you'll flip the order. Obviously, you need to make the moves yourselves, but the grip will be so amazing that people for the back might want to try.
Yeah, indeed. FICO's going to be loving this, of course, because now he's got a couple laps that he doesn't need to worry about the cars behind. And the chances of DRS being available at the end of this race is very slim. So it's going to make it even easier for him to defend. If we go racing on the last 2 laps, then that would mean that he would only have to distribute his ERS over 2 laps of 50% per lap, of course. Is anybody going to be going into the pit lane? No. One is going into the pit lane except from Robbo, who will take that call. I'm really surprised that no one else tried it, but okay, he's going to give it a shot. Soft tyres to the end. I'm excited to see how this one will go, but he's got to show a lot of aggression. And aggression can be a good thing, but it can also be a very risky thing as well.
I mean, it works both ways, doesn't it? You can push, be aggressive, get the moves done, or you can push, be aggressive, and end up in a wall with another car, which is, funnily enough, doesn't score you any points. So, preferably, you want to just be. You need to be aggressive, of course you do, right? But you need to have some sort of smart around you whilst being so. You need to be quite aware of the cars around you. But with that pace and with that awareness, you're able to just side your way through the field with, like, what? We're going to say 1.2 to the medium and like 1.6 to the hard now. Obviously the hard's getting faster as the stint goes on. The medium runners, as you can see on the tyre, the mediums and hards between Niffle and FICO look quite similar now. If not, the hard looking a little bit better, so that shows that the tyre wear just gets worse and worse for the softer tyre, as what it should do. And so, at the end of this race and at the restart, FICO theoretically should have the advantage.
I don't think we're going to be getting DRS. We're going to be going racing, I would assume, on the lap after this. Waldo has caught up. It would be a very late call, but I will not rule it out just yet. Okay, we're going to rule it out now. The safety car's passed the pit lane. So, we're going to be racing on lap 34 out of 35. No DRS. 50% ERS on the first lap. 50% ERS on the second and final lap. FICO's got this in the bag. He just needs to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. Jan's going to be on full attack as well, although they need to make sure that they have minimal impact. So I think what's probably going to happen is they're not going to fight, but they're also not going to defend. I think that's going to be the case, of course. This is Vale, will be sitting in P3. He's going to be a bit annoyed, of course, because now he's on that tyre, which might have been an advantage and might still be an advantage, but he will have a car in between that he will not be able to get to the lead. That was completely not English. But anyway, Bassoon's sitting in P4. He's going to try, I guess, probably just hold on, because Robbo's in P12. If he can just secure these points regardless, he's good.
Does it not feel better to win on track? Does it not? Come on.
It does, but it's not worth, for the championship purpose, it's not worth it.
Well, you can say that, but also if you're taking calculated risks, which some people will be doing, then, well, guess what? You're gonna make up positions and you're gonna extend that championship lead further. I get where you're coming from. I understand. You do not want to have contact with anyone, get a penalty, drop you all the way down to last. You don't want it to spin, drop you all the way down to last. But if he was so confident in the first two restarts making moves and both of them, then what's stopping him from doing it a third time?
It is very, very possible. We know time trial is very, very quick. This is Vale, also has shown some great pace. Bassoon might have a go, of course, but 12 points in the bag over Robbo, possibly going to be getting 1 point. Maybe, well, actually, it would be 2 points, of course. It's probably a nice advantage that he would like to have. FICO will lead the way once again. This time, Jan sits in P2. He's got a pretty good reaction time, according to safety cars. He's had it pretty hard. His rival's very good at safety car restarts, so he's one to watch. And we are once again off for the Hungarian Grand Prix for the final time, like 34 to 35. He gets a pretty good exit, but it's not going to be enough to defend just yet. Warming up his tyres is the Alfa Romeo, interestingly. Tries to get everything he can on that hard tyre. He needs every advantage. This is Vale, goes off the circuit. He's just going to hold on just about. That is a very, very scary moment for him. Any cars side by side, it is going to be a couple cars side by side. That's going to be the Haas of PJ looking side by side. That's a yellow of Waldo, unfortunately having issues. I don't quite know what happened there. That's Eager Pro to the inside of turn 4, to the inside. Jan getting a time penalty in the meantime, but no, holding it round the outside into the chicane. Eager Pro's gonna be ahead. He's surely gonna have to back out of that one. A switchback, will it be available? No, not that corner, but to the inside again. Robbo is gonna have a look. It wasn't even Robbo, it was Mikash. Robbo can't find a way through just yet, but they're gonna have to send it sooner rather than later.
up the front end. Niffle, although he got that 3-second time penalty, just a few corners ago, he's 2 tenths behind Fico. But it's the last lap, in just a moment's time, rounding the last corner for the penultimate time and coming onto the straight. Will Niffle go for an attack? It looks as though he's got a lot of batteries. That PJ further back making a mistake, but on the straight now, it doesn't look like he can get anywhere near him. He's got the slipstream, which will help him a little bit, but nothing doing so far. Fico doing so well on those hard tyres to keep it ahead. Niffle gets a great run out of turn 2. This is going to be one of his last chances to make the move around the outside. Maybe no, he just can't find a way through, and Fico is looking at a first win.
It's not going to happen. Nifojan will have to sit in P2, and I don't think he's going to be taking any risks. Maybe if there is a mistake from the car ahead, sure, he'll have a look, but this is Vale is going to have to consider that. No ERS for Nifojan. He pushed everything on that lap. ERS is available for This Is Vale and Fico, so it's going to be extremely difficult. This Is Vale's going to be frustrated once again. Pursoon is just sitting behind. He can't do anything about it. Gilly trying to get damage limitation on that time penalty, as well as Cohen, of course. Luckily for them, they've got a couple of higher tier drivers right behind them. That's Mikash and Robbo. Robbo is so quick. Is he going to be able to get a move on the exit? Surely he will. He will have a look to the inside. The soft tyre should have the advantage on the exit. Mikash is going to try and hold on. This is for position. No drive over the time penalty. There's slight contact. That is going to be Robbo to the inside, and surely he will have that position. Fico wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. This is Vale in P2, and that is Pursoon taking the P3 in the end. Absolutely perfect for him, taking a podium. Eager Pro in P4, Nifojan in P5. Gilly takes a P6 just about, and Robbo, although he had many issues, it was the right call to make that pit stop in the end. He will finish P6. Oh no, not even P6, P5 overall. So 10 points regarding that race he just had. That's not too bad.
I struggled to keep up with that, honestly. That was incredible. Racing from everyone. Gave us a great show that ends up being an Alfa Romeo 1-2. Who would have thought it?
Absolutely incredible. An alpha moment, you could say, of course. It's spelt a little bit different. Eager Pro gets driver of the day. I think that's very well deserved. He spent a lot of time at the back, but managed to make it count right at the end there. So very good job. Fico on debut will win in F1.5. It wasn't easy. He has definitely proved himself. Fico takes the win. That's This Is Vale in P2. Pursoon, Eager Pro, Nifojan, Gilly, Robbo, Mikash, Cohen, Gibby, IDMC, of course, and Waldo. PJ finishes off the race finishers. Then we have Larlock. I think that was JJ next. No, it was Mr. Grajak, then JJ finishing off the order. I just want to quickly skim through the time penalties just before I go to the race director. And we will now go to the race director as well. As usual, you know the drill, through the incident section and the pit stops, just in case. You always have to do it. And we will be back for the post-race interviews. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Hungarian Grand Prix. That was a pretty crazy one. We start the interviews with one of the drivers that had one of the craziest races today. Robbo, that was pretty tough. A spin at the beginning. You had a lot of hard work to do from then, and even more hard work to do. Had to go for that soft tyre. Do you think that was the right call?
Yeah, definitely. At the end, you could tell the difference pace-wise between the relatively fresh softs. I think I did one lap on them in quali, and then the old mediums, you could definitely tell the pace difference. I was able to make a few moves in places where you wouldn't really make them just because of that grip difference. The race was kind of crazy, to be honest, like you said. Quali wasn't the best. I had zero practice for this, so quali was going to sort of be my practice, I guess. Wasn't able to. Started P11, then I tried to stick it down the inside where I probably shouldn't have. It wasn't the other guy's fault. It was just racing. Worked my way up the grid, and yeah, it was annoying when the safety car. With the safety car, I was able to gain a lot of positions. And then on I think the second restart, I had Pursuin and I just scuffed up the exit, which was very frustrating. I think I definitely could have got like up there, P2 or P3, but I'll take from P11. I'll definitely take a P4.
Yeah, regarding the whole situation, you've done a pretty good job in the end, so well done there. Brazil, that's a sprint race. Do you like that circuit?
Yeah, I mean, I've not had brilliant races there in the past, but I'll have this week to get some laps in, and I know Dave's Brazil is his favourite track, so I think it could be good for Alpine to secure the constructors before Abu Dhabi, because I think it's getting a bit closer with AlphaTauri coming into the mix as well.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is. Well done today. Great effort and great recovery. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
What a race.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Cheers. Yeah.
And we move on to FICO. FICO, that is a lovely, lovely win. It wasn't that easy. Quite a few safety cars to deal with. I mean, that last safety car, it probably was actually quite nice for you, right?
Yeah, it was actually, because I think it actually saved me, because if the DRS was enabled and the last safety car wasn't there, I think I would have been, I think it would have dropped back to P3 or 4, because the other guys behind me is my teammate and Nifo, they were so fast on those mediums. I was like hanging on to the hearts and just going for it, and yeah, it's pretty hectic.
Yeah, blasting that ERS, and of course with that last safety car you could just share the battery across a few laps. Really well done. In the heat of the moment, it's a very difficult race to get down. You were leading fairly early on, so really well done, and you deserve that. I can't really say much more than that. Brazil, do you like that circuit more than Hungary, or do you prefer Hungary?
Yeah. No, definitely Brazil. I think one of the tracks I'm struggling with is actually Hungary, and I've done a couple races on Brazil as well, and I got a amazing setup for that. So I really look forward to joining you next Saturday again.
Awesome. There's a sprint race as well, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of action. Really well done today. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Yeah, bloody amazing. Just to...
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Yes, thank you.
And we move on to Gilly. Gilly, time penalty. That's not like you. What happened?
I was avoiding a spinner.
Okay. So will you get that removed, do you think?
I think so, but there's not much point because I don't think I'll lose any positions.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, that was a bit of a crazy race. You seem to be like the red version of Thomas the Tank Engine at the start. Were you happy with that?
That was because what, the train?
Yeah,
That's
it's not a bad thing. It's
I got JJ. JJ was staying with me, and then every time I started to pull away a little bit, someone spun in front of me and blocked me in sector 2.
Oh, right. Fair enough. Fair
I'll
enough.
blame that rather than me being slow, because I was slow as well. But
Well, we always try and find an excuse. It's the best way. Well, yeah, great effort and managing to get up there in the end. Time penalty wasn't ideal, but luckily it doesn't affect you, so really well done today. Brazil, you like that circuit?
yeah, I like it. I had a practice race on it last week, and it went terribly. But yeah, I like it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, hopefully we can see you do well there. Maybe another Gilly podium. That'd be good. Great to see. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
No, thank you. Penalty.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to Curran. Curran, that was a tough race. That was a very, very tough race.
Yeah, that was not how I planned it to be. I already fucked up my pole position by throwing the last lap, and then at the start of the race I just couldn't find a rhythm, and I was making a lot of mistakes, getting a lot of track limits as well. So yeah, it was not a good beginning of the race and not a good end as well. But yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. You gave it everything, I'm sure. But yeah, it was a tricky situation. All the safety cars it did make it very, very difficult. Of course, there's a lot to think about. Brazil, though, in the past we've seen you do pretty well there. At least on the race starts, I remember, of course. And of course, race-wise, sprint races always nice to get some extra points and maybe positions if you do have an issue in quali. Do you think you can do well there?
Yeah, last season it went very well for me. I won the race, I think. But yeah, I like the track, so that's good, and I hope I can do better than here. So we'll see then.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, it's a shame that it didn't go the way you wanted it to, but very, very good effort, and thank you for that. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Hungary is shit.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to Nifo Jan. Nifo, P2 in the end. Were you trying to push for that win just about at the very last moments?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, why not? I mean, yeah. I mean, if you start from the back in F1.5, it's always going to be an entertaining one. It was. I mean, the first few positions were made up quite easily, and then, of course, I made a mistake, which made it a bit harder for myself. Same corner, stupid, but for different reasons this time. I just I just jumped in like 5 minutes before the race and didn't have any practice. I was a bit messy, and so I just didn't know the limits and found the limits afterwards. So it's good. The safety car came, which saved me a little bit. I could pit. If I waited one more lap, I would have got cone on the pit, so that would have been better. But and then the restart was good. Was behind Phil and FICO for a bit. I thought Phil was waiting a bit too long on that because of the better tires he had. I thought that he should have just gone for it. I mean, maybe he couldn't. I don't know that, but I was like, oh, come on, go for it, but he didn't. So then the second safety car came out, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get him here because he's waiting too long. Because our tires will die out and Faco's tires will be better, and then if there's not a safety car and we don't get the arrest, it's gonna be a problem. So, and that's exactly what happened. I overtook him, and another safety car came out, and we didn't have the arrest. And I already knew, like, oh shit, I'm not gonna get past now because of, you know. It's Hungary, no DRS, and even with the worst tires, like I would get close to him, but I mean you can't really pass without the DRS here. But yeah, it was a fun battle. I thought FICO was lagging back a little bit in corners, which made me a bit more cautious. Like especially the second to last turn, every time he lagged back a little bit, so I just had to lift through there every time, which made it a bit more difficult. But the racing was fun nonetheless. So yeah, fun one.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. There was a lot of lag, and I'm not sure if it was actually driver-based. I think there might have been a couple of lobby issues, because we were lagging a lot, as well as quite a few drivers on the circuit. So
yeah, the McLaren as well.
Yeah, it's a shame, but that's how it goes in the F1.22 game. I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but it is what it is. Brazil, do you like that circuit?
No.
Cool. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
That was fun.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Really well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to This Is Vale. This is Vale. That was a tough one. Managing to get that P2 in the end.
Oh yeah, but as you know that I have actually bad results recently in previous races. I wasn't very lucky actually. So actually for this race it feels very good to finish in second place.
Fair enough.
And my teammate Faiko was very fast also. And also he's very lucky because at the second stint the safety car came in 3 times. So yeah, when safety car pops in, and then we have restart, and then in 2 laps safety car comes in again. So we couldn't get in actually a DRS. Only I know maybe for 2 laps, but also I had Nifo on my behind. So actually, since he was a F1 level driver, so he made me very nervous about that, and I was very focused to him. So I couldn't deal with actually Faiko too much, and he was very fast also with that hard tires. He's really a good driver, and I didn't have much luck actually chasing him because of the safety cars, but I'm very happy to finish in second place, of course. Yeah, after those races actually.
It's a heck of a shame, but you did a very good job. Do you think maybe if the safety car didn't come out, you would have been able to get that move?
Yeah, because I would have more DRS than me. Actually, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
And
fair enough.
with the help of ERS, so because I was actually not using ERS a lot to have that overtake time, so actually I was waiting for that, but it's okay. It's very
it's a heck of a shame, but that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, really well done. Brazil, do you like that circuit?
Yeah, I like Brazil, so we will see what will happen.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, hopefully it can be a little bit easier safety car-wise for you. Well done today. One last question. Can you describe your race in 3 words?
Back to podium.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great job.
See you.
And that's been it. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. That has been the Hungarian Grand Prix. We'll be back next week for the Brazilian Grand Prix. The championship is going to be a little bit interesting for both tiers, of course. The delivery man himself, Zingy, will not be driving, so that's going to be a brilliant opportunity for everybody else to gain points on that man, of course. He is quite far ahead, but this could switch things up. We'll be back on Tuesday for some practice lobbies, and of course we'll see you next week for the league races. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.